Hi there. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? Whoa, we're nice and cold here in New Hampshire. It feels good. It feels like winter as long as you can be where you're warm, even if you're outside, if you're dressed properly. Um, it's really a wonderful time of year to be in New England, in my opinion, as long as it doesn't last too long. And it kind of started out a little slow here in New England. So make sure I've got everything going here. I can hear. Yes, I can. So you are listening. I say listening. I'm so used to doing radio. You are on Zoom with Wondrous Roots, your health from the ground up, or you are watching later on YouTube or Rumble and Wondrous Roots from your ground up. My name is Rebecca Becky Montrone. We have a business here. My husband Dale and I grew up in Keene, New Hampshire, where we are now. We're back. We were out of here for most of our um, married adult life and came back in 2009 to this area and have a business called Wondrous Roots up on the third floor of the Miller Forge building in Keene, New Hampshire on Roxbury Street. Our business hours, open business hours there weekly are 9:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. I see clients in private consultation regarding all kinds of health issues, whatever they may be, from wellness to serious advanced disease, and things such as cancer and Parkinson's um, and all of those things. I see people of all ages from turn my volume up. 1 second, I'm gonna check my volume. Hang on. See what's going on. Check my sound. Check, check, check. I'm just checking my sound. I'm on. My volume should be. I'm going to change my speaker to. I'm just changing my speaker because that's the problem. I don't want to be using this one. Let me check my sound again. Let's see. If everyone will bear with me, Karen just let me know I'm not on my mic is the problem, and I'm not sure why that is. So if you just bear with me for a second, we can get these technical issues out of the way. To begin with, will be good. Microphone, okay, sound, let's see. Sound, let's go back and of course, when you're doing something live and you feel like nothing works, like because you're like messing things up. This is so strange. Pull this out. It's not recognizing my microphone. It should be. I'm just going to go into a different port. Let's see if that makes a difference. Okay. Struggles here. Just bear with me. Let me choose my speakers. Do not know why this isn't recognized. It's all lit up. So let's see here. Test my microphone. Sound devices. Microphone. I don't know what to say here. Okay, hang on. Let me go back to my Zoom. Can I just ask how my volume is? Can people hear me okay? Karen, can anybody just let me know if the volume is all right? It looks like my microphone should be what it's supposed to be. Microphone. I don't really get it. Okay, so again, still low. Okay, if everybody would just bear with me for a moment, I'm just seriously not sure why I'm having this trouble. I have a very nice microphone, which is not showing up in the list of microphones. And it should be, let's see, sound. Recording. Yeah, it is not allowing me to do this. So I'm just going to I'm still here. Probably what I will do when I do this recording is I'll probably run a little bit over today. And what I'll do is I'll just trim the video for the YouTube so that all of this nonsense doesn't happen. But my Elgato microphone is not showing up. Let's see here. Yeah, it is not letting me change my microphone. Okay, so I wonder, perfect for you. Okay. Gosh. What I'm going to do is if everybody just trim the video, we'll just like kind of, but I am going to, I'm going to switch now to, oh, I didn't bring that with me. Yeah, because I didn't think I needed it. Just let me fuss with this one more time and see. I don't know if it doesn't work. If it's not working, what I can do is just really move this microphone here. Is this like any better? Because I just moved my actual laptop where this microphone is, which is a horrible microphone. So it sounds like it's okay for everybody, but I'm not sure what happened. I'll have to figure out oh gosh, there's always got to be, it's been a while since I've had real, well, no, it hasn't been a while because I forgot to record that message a while back, but thanks. Everybody's like, it's sounding like it's okay. So hopefully, and let me just, I've got somebody with their hand up. I think that's Joe. Joe, what can you tell me? Joe's going to tell me. Joe.
Hi, Becky.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. The volume isn't quite as high as it usually is, but it's, it's still easy to hear you.
Okay, so I apologize for that, everybody. That's just really stinks because it's just, I mean, I just did a Zoom on this using this microphone last appointment yesterday. So I don't get it. But the only thing I could do is like waste more time, closing out the webinar and then having everybody come back on. And I don't know if we think that that's going to be okay for people, we'll just leave it the way it is. Again, I'll try to make sure I speak up more than I normally do. And and anyway, let's just try to go. Okay. Joe is loud and clear. I'm still faint. Yes. All right. Okay. Does everybody mind just go grab pour yourself some more coffee or do whatever you're doing, and let me just see if I can get to the bottom of this. I wonder if I can. Let's see. Yeah, if you just bear with me, because again, like I say, I'm delaying my start on the program, and then I'll end up trimming the video, the recording, and we'll just go that way. But I just want to make sure that this is heard. It's very annoying, especially if this is going to be a recording that people listen to later on. So go to my systems, my microphones. Elgato waveform app. Device. Net. Compatible device. Let's see. What connect? Okay. Come on, Elgato, come to me, Elgato. I need to find this. Yeah, I mean, why I can't get that. Gosh. All right, I'm going to test my microphone. Hang on one second. One second. Hang on for like an hour here while we try to figure this out. It's so funny because my husband was just leaving as I was starting, like 1 minute before we started, and he said, "Don't say anything important until I get home." So I don't know. Maybe this is all his fault, right? Maybe I can just maybe that's just the problem. Let's see. Audio settings. All right. So can you hear me better now? Can anybody hear me better now? But I'd like to do, okay, so Dale said much better. Okay. All right, so I just turned up. I've just got the speaker that's in my, okay, I've just got my speaker that's in my computer, but I went in and I turned up the volume. Okay. All right, but all's well that ends well. All right, so I'm going to start over, just like this is brand new. Okay, great. Everybody's saying thank you, everybody, for letting me know. And thank you, Joe. Joe, I'm going to just mute you because I can hear your house sounds in the background. But thank you. If you want to talk again, please chime in. And thanks for all of the feedback. Okay, so let's see. That's good. All right. Okay, so you are tuning in to Wondrous Roots, your help from the ground up. My name is Rebecca Becky Montrone. My husband Dale and I have a business here in Keene where we both grew up. We're gone for most of our adult life and back in 2009 called Wondrous Roots. I am an holistic health care practitioner. And I'm also an herbalist, so I see clients in private consultation for all kinds of health issues. I love to sleuth out what's going on. I love to learn constantly, as you all know who tune in with me regularly. And what I learn, I pass on to you. I put into practice for myself, and then I tune in and tell you about here on these programs and in my newsletters. Today, I'm revisiting a topic that I addressed a year or so ago. And before I do that, Wondrous Roots is located on in the Miller Forge building on 103 Roxbury Street in Keene, New Hampshire. We're up on the 3rd floor. We have great elevator access, stairwell. Our door is right there when you first get off either the stairwell or the elevator. Handicap access completely in the building, completely free parking, which is a real premium in downtown Keene. And what can I say? 9:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, are our open door hours. Our number here is 603-439-2603. You can also reach out to me through my website, wondrousroots.org, shopwondrousroots.com, and shoot me a message, and those come to my private email, and I will get back to you. I think that's about it. I still haven't done my my intro. Well, it doesn't matter. So I will spend more time doing that. So we're getting about a 15-minute delayed start, so I might run over. And if you have to go, I certainly understand, but I hope you can hang around. These videos, maybe you're watching on YouTube or Rumble for the first time. When you go to this video and you look at the description, the first few lines there, you're going to see a link to the newsletter that goes with this program. and all the programs, because I put in those programs a lot of information that I refer to and that you can go look at. And you can, if you're not signed up and you don't get your own copy in your email weekly, then you will be able to sign up if you want to do that. So I think that's about it, except for you can participate. Most of you all know how to do that because you just really helped me out here with the sound check. And but you can go to the Q&A, you can go to the chat, you can type it in, or you can do what Joe did. He raised his hand and I clicked on him and he spoke. You can also, if you want to be seen, you can raise your hand and I can click on you. You can turn on your video. So, you know, maybe you have something you want to share and you want to show us something or whatever. So I think that about covers it. So I'm going to my newsletter on my other computer. So rebounding, I talked about this, and I think of Joe being with us today because when I first did it, Joe has a rebounder in his basement. He was like, when I was talking about it, he went down in the basement and he started bouncing. And I talked about how phenomenal it is for your health and how just bouncing a short while accomplishes so much that it takes longer exercise programs or other forms of exercise to accomplish similar things, and in many ways doesn't really quite accomplish the same things that rebounding does because of the gravity effect. And it's wonderful. It's fascinating. So I started doing this back when I first talked about it, and I want to say that it wasn't last year, but it was in 2022, is my guess. And I bounced for a while pretty faithfully, and then I kind of fell off the wagon, and I bounced occasionally. And about 12 weeks ago, I started bouncing every single day. I never, ever miss. I missed 2 days just over the Christmas weekend because we had guests using our bedroom, and our trampoline is in our bedroom. And so I just, I didn't bounce on those 2 days, but that's it. And the way I get it in, and the reason I fell off the wagon before is I didn't do it the minute I got out of bed, because I have tons of things I want to do in the morning before I come into work. And a lot of that is reading, research, taking all this stuff for myself that I do, taking my vitamins and taking my MSM powder and, drinking my quart of water since, anyway. It's just all of the routine, you know how it is. And if you put something off and then it's getting late, you don't end up doing it. So what I do is as soon as I wake up, I go like everybody else. You get out of bed, you go use the bathroom. I have my Indium on the counter and I put the Indium drops on my tongue. And then I go right back in and I get on the rebounder. I get on my mini trampoline and bounce. And it feels great. You might think, well, you're hardly got the sleep out of your eyes, but I'm telling you, it is a lovely way to wake up because you sleep and your body's like static, and you wake up and you want to stretch like people, you stretch when you get, well, rebounding is just a great way to stretch. You can bounce and like move your hip out this way, move your, kind of going like you're doing a hula hoop around on the trampoline. Okay, excuse all of the hilarious actions here, but you can move your body while you're bouncing. You can really get the kinks out and really get some nice stretch in. And then you can begin to do whatever it is you want to do. I just freestyle it because I kind of know how to move my body. I've been a lifelong exerciser. I use my upper body. I don't use hand weights. I just really flex my muscles, and I use my arms while I'm bouncing, and I do my biceps and my triceps and all of this kind of stuff. But you just do what you want to do. I don't like to use music myself because I like to change up the rhythm according to what I'm trying to accomplish. Anyway, so I bounce for about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more, and then I do a series of stretches. And I use my rebounder for that. I use my the handle on the rebounder to help with stretching. Like I'm able to move like 1 foot off and do like a hamstring stretch. You can go forward and do your calves first, then get off, do hamstring, turn this way and get your inner thigh. Anyway, when I first started using the trampoline,
when I first started, like whether that was a year or 2 years ago, whatever, when I first started this, I can't remember if it was last year. I think it was 2022. I held on to the handle when I bounced. I never held on to the handle when I bounce. And I bounce in circles, and I'll work my waist, and I'll just bounce around in a circle. I mean, I have no issue with feeling like I need to hold on to anything. And so I think it is really remarkable. So I ordered this book, Jumping for Health. And this is kind of what I'm referring to today, a lot of the material from this book, because in the previous newsletter and program I did, I had stuff that I found online, and it was interesting, but this goes so much deeper than just that. I also have the other book that I have in my newsletter there that I talk about, that I put in the newsletter, called The Bounce, and I have that I have that as well. But I just, I went to this one, and I really liked this one. This one I have on my app, because I wanted to get it right away, and so I don't have a book I can flip through, and I like books I can flip through. So this is the one and this one was not really, I started reading it, and it didn't really inspire me as much as this one did. So anyway, I'm going to go back and just say, rebounding for just 2 minutes, okay, compares to running for 6 minutes. This is for burning calories, okay? So this isn't even talking about the superiority of bouncing and the gravity effect for other things that we're going for when it comes to exercise. So it is, but to burn, like, there's a really cool quote here. Oh, let me see if I can just find it really quick. Calories. Well, basically, I mean, I don't know why I'm looking, because I can tell you exactly what it says. It says that if you drink a beer, it's 150 extra calories, okay? So it said to burn that 150 calories, you can rebound for 2 minutes, or you can run for 6 minutes, or you can swim for 10 minutes, or you can walk for 20 minutes. Now, right there, the time factor, right? Because I love time. I love spending time the way I want to spend it. And I don't have time to go to a gym. I can't do the things I want to do in life on a daily basis if I'm going to the gym. I just forget it. And it's so important to remain active, especially as well, all through life, from kids all the way up. But if you don't remain active as you age, your muscles will atrophy. Your body will become stagnant, and you will age faster than you're supposed to. I mean, we're going to age and die. We live in a fallen creation. We're mortal, right? So we're not going to hold out forever, but we want to be as healthy as we possibly can be as the years go by. So I just wanted to go, when it comes to anti-aging, it says here, the effects of hardening of the arteries are reversed, prevented, or diminished. By conquering this ultimate pathology of the main degenerative diseases, you will keep your mind alert, your skin smooth, skeleton flexible, libido intact, kidneys functioning, blood circulating, liver detoxifying, enzyme systems alive. Hold on to your memory and avoid different symptoms of the aging process. Rebounding aerobics will do it all for you. It offers nimbleness, pliability, strength, and stretch for all parts of the body. It does away with desk-bound flabbiness and executive stress, which sometimes is the fate of many business executives and other persons. So yes, this is turn down the gain on my side. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I think, Dale, the only thing I can do is just turn down my volume on my microphone. So let me just do that. Let's see. All right, I'm just, Dale's just saying that I'm a little distorted. If I can turn down the gain, I think maybe if all I do is move my computer a little bit farther away from my mouth. that might make a difference. Just if Dale can make me, let me know. He's really good with sound. He's my sound guy. But let's just see. Bear with me for a second. Sound devices, microphone. I cannot find, I'm just going to have to try to go with this because I can't get back to that screen I had before. Are we okay? Are we okay? And Gail said I was a little distorted. Okay, it's better. All right, so just let me know. But okay, so what was I saying? Well, all right, so let's go back to, I'm going to go back to that quick description I typed. And I'm so glad that at one point in time, I was a medical transcriptionist because I just read this stuff this morning and I couldn't cut and paste, right? I mean, I typed this word letter by letter myself. I hope you are very impressed. Rebounding is an enjoyable and gentle exercise that promotes self-healing of the body and mind. It offers a new style of physical activity that puts more bounce into your life. Rebounding is fun, leads to improved posture, increased vascularity, better muscle tone, enhanced timing, sharper vision, greater coordination, surer balance, more rhythm, elevated energy levels, and holistic living in general. The movements provide you with freedom to turn, twist, kick, and stretch in the air or on the mat. Such movements are perfectly safe and they make gravity act as a benefactor. By working against constant gravitational pressure while bouncing, you resist the Earth's pull. The resistance builds strength. Gravity becomes a force for the good of your entire body. And there's all this stuff about the acceleration and the deceleration. So when you come down and when you go up. Now, you get benefit whether your feet leave the mat themselves or they don't, right? So you still get the benefit. I like to do a combination of both forms. So I'll do, anyway. So I do like to do like 100 good bounces per session off the mat entirely. A series of 100, and then I'll do it with my toes in first position out like a ballet dancer with my legs tight together, and I'll do another 100 that way going up. But most of the other stuff that I do, I'm not completely leaving the mat because that enables me to really move my body in intricate ways that get different muscle groups and things like that. So, excuse me. This is really fantastic. So I'm going to run through a list here of 30 was the anti-aging in general. And I just went over that, but it tones up the glandular system to increase the output of the thyroid gland, the pituitary gland, and the adrenals. And I'm going to actually go to this section in the book where these are all listed so I can kind of elaborate a little bit more than what I could type in there. It says the thyroid's hormonal production stimulates or affects almost every important body process, including the body's use of oxygen. The pituitary stimulates, regulates, and coordinates the functions of the other endocrines. For this reason, the pituitary gland is called the master gland of the body. The two main functions of the hormones of the adrenal cortex are the control of the proper salt and water content of the body and the regulation of carbohydrate, fat, and protein metabolism. In addition, the adrenal cortex secretes sex hormones, mainly androgens, similar to those produced by the testicles. And we make androgens too. We definitely need them. We make them from the hormone DHEA, which you know is another lovely, fun, favorite topic of mine. It strengthens the heart and any other muscle being used in the body so that the muscle works more efficiently. This is really kind of cool. It says, muscle tissue is made up of elastic cells and fibers that can repeatedly contract and relax. Whenever we move, we do so by contraction of some particular set of muscles attached to the skeleton. When we hold ourselves erect against gravity, we are using muscles in opposing groups. So against gravity, when we just hold ourselves standing up, right? We are using muscles in opposing groups, some held in a contracted state in order to maintain our balance. Increase the gravity force and you will cause greater contraction. The involved muscles work harder and get stronger. Rebounding increases the G force at the bottom of each bounce. Okay, so compare jumping rope, which is really, of all of the aerobic exercises, has been studied and shown to be the most effective aerobic exercise, but jumping on a rebounder even increases that. It betters that. It was interesting when I was in Bible school at Word of Life Bible Institute, we either had to run a mile a day, or we had to run a mile 5 days a week, or when the weather was inclement, we could jump rope for 10 minutes. That was really very smart of them to say, you know, it's not healthy not to move. It's kind of like a little mini boot camp. But anyway, doing this when you have the gravity force increased, you get so much more benefit. And it's so much easier on your joints and your body. I mean, it just feels lovely. It doesn't feel jarring like you're jumping on the floor. It's really cool. By strengthening the heart muscle, it allows the resting heart to beat less often. Each beat becomes more powerful and sends out a greater surge of blood around the body to nourish its 60 trillion cells. And I'll tell you what I notice when I bounce. You bounce, and Raymond Elias was on a couple weeks ago talking about breathing. Bouncing enhances your breathing and your respiration, not because you're out of breath, because you don't get out of breath. At least I don't. But I find I breathe more, not just when I'm doing it, but after. I feel like I breathe more deeply. Like I breathe so that I feel like the air goes to the bottom of my abdomen. It doesn't. It goes to the bottom of my lungs. But you feel like the way I felt just then. You feel thirsty for air. You feel a hunger for air. Not like you can't get air, but you feel like you just want air. And it makes you feel, gives you a brain buzz, not like you're high or anything, not like you're high. It makes you feel good. It's like an endorphin buzz. Like I remember when I used to years ago, there was a period of time when I would run a couple of miles as part of my routine. And that was many years ago. But I loved when you finally broke into that runner's high and you felt that like you could just conquer the world, that sort of endorphin thing. I feel that. And I feel that now when I do that breathing, just like I'm doing that. I feel that same thing. But you get off the trampoline and you just feel like you want to breathe like that. And it's so interesting because right before I closed out my newsletter, and I didn't have time to put anything in there, but when I was talking with Ryan Gresh, okay, so Jean Gresh, I've spoken about this before. Jean Gresh is a compound pharmacist I became friendly, good friends with through my father. Jean was one of the close ones that he mentored. And let me just get rid of that. Okay. He and I developed, we came up with a formula for what is now the all-natural pain cream that we get from the Feel Good lab that people can buy here. But that was Jean and I. And Ryan owns the company that manufactures and makes and sells the Feel Good pain cream, all-natural pain cream. So anyway, Ryan interviewed me a couple of years ago. And at the very end, he said, so when I ask you, right, so it was 2 years ago, he said, what can you tell me that I wouldn't expect you to tell me about? And I said, rebounding. And he said, I can't believe it. I would never have expected you to say that. And then he went on to tell me that Tony Robbins, who he follows, and I guess Tony, I don't know anything about Tony Robbins except that his name is very familiar in the world of health and stuff. That Tony Robbins rebounds all the time. And before he goes out on stage, he rebounds backstage before he goes out. So I was going to try to include something about that if I could find something quick in my newsletter. And I did find a page with Tony Robbins talking about his 12 habits for health. So let me see if I can just find that really quick. And just 12 health habits. 12 principles to guarantee a healthy mind and body. And what was very interesting in this was, I'm just waiting for this computer to bring it up. If we look at bounce or rebound, he's talking about the lymphatic system, and I'm going to get into that because that's one of the huge things here. But he says lymphosizing is all about stimulating and improving your lymphatic circulation. Research shows that exercise that involves opposing gravity does the most for your lymphatic system, resulting in a healthy mind and body. This is why 20 to 30 minutes of rebounding or bouncing, preferably on a rebounder, will help provide the ideal conditions for cleansing your cells. And then he talked about breathing. I have to say my sessions, when I look at the clock, are basically, they're at least 20 minutes. And by the time I stretch, we're going even longer than that. So I definitely have increased the time that I do this too. But he talks about principle 1, vital breathing and lymphosizing. So he talks about how important the breathing is, to breathe correctly every day, take 10 power breaths 3 times a day in the ratio of 1-4-2, blah, 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 blah. Inhale for 8 seconds, hold for 32 seconds, exhale for 16 seconds. So we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. There are all different ways you can approach that. But the breathing combined with the bouncing, these are things that are easy to do. They cost nothing, okay? Once you invest in a rebounder, it's a one-time purchase. This is not something you have to replenish every month, right? Breathing, you just have to get into a discipline. Rebounding, you just have to get into the discipline. Very cool. And so anyway, right, just off on that. Okay. All right, now back to the principles here. It encourages collateral circulation, the formation of new branch blood vessels that distribute blood to the heart muscle and to other parts, body parts by alternate routes. It tends to reduce the height to which the arterial pressure rises during exertion, so your arterial blood pressure. And it says the same kind of training effect that occurs from aerobics performance with external muscles takes place in the media or middle muscle layers of the arteries. The training effect gives the media greater muscle tone, and elevation of the blood pressure becomes less great in times of stress. So we classically tend to think of working out, we think about our muscles, we think about cardio and our muscles, and that's kind of what we think about most of the time. It's just so much deeper than that, isn't it? Furthermore, the blood pressure won't remain elevated quite so long because of this training effect, and it lessens the time during which the blood pressure remains below normal after severe activity. The blood pressure drops suddenly after the need for its elevation is removed, and the training effect from rebounding aerobics brings up the dropped pressure to its normal level more quickly. It lowers elevated cholesterol and triglyceride levels. It has an effect on balancing your blood lipids. Yeah, and Melanie just said, I will walk on it. You can walk on it if you kind of have to, you can walk, but put a little bounce in your walk. And you'll find a way that works. And then you'll find there's different things that you can do. You know, you can put your legs out side to side, one side out, one side in, out, forward, back. Things like that, that you're not bouncing up and down, and you're not worried that you might harm yourself if that feels not like a good idea for you. But as you do it and you start out slow, you're going to find your capacity to do things increases as you become stronger and more accustomed to it. The balance will increase. It's really great. It holds off the incidence of cardiovascular disease. This is evident by acknowledging risk factors, high blood pressure, the lipids, realizing that rebounding exercise reduce all of these elevated readings that have your heart at risk. It increases the functional activity of the red bone marrow in the production of red blood cells, so increasing the oxygenation of your blood. It establishes a better equilibrium between the oxygen required by the tissues and the oxygen made available. This equilibrium is established by the red cells in the blood that carry oxygen to the organs and tissues and remove the carbon dioxide from them. Let's deep breath. 11, it circulates more oxygen to the tissues. 12, it increases the capacity for respiration. So just talking about that. Breathing is controlled by changes in the volume of the chest cavity, brought about mainly by muscular movements of the diaphragm. Expansion and contraction of the lungs to fill the cavity result in lower and higher air pressures within them, which are equalized with the atmospheric pressure as air is forced into and out of the lungs. Repeated rebounding accomplishes more muscular movements of the diaphragm with the consequent chest expansion. That's what I think I feel. I just feel like there's more place for the air to go. It's like you feel like you took a deep breath, but then, oh no, there's more capacity there. There's more place for air to go. That's all I can say. Try it. Just try it and see what you think. If you can kind of, and of course, breathing from the diaphragm. So breathing so that your stomach is coming out, right? And you're like, oh yeah, I feel like I'm really full. And then, oh no, there's room for more. There's room for more, and it feels so good. All right. It causes muscles to perform work in moving fluids through the body, which lightens the load on the heart. With 2/3 of the body comprised of liquids, the ability to send fluid to areas where it is needed, such as to sites of inflammation, becomes vital. The amount of fluid in the body remains constant, controlled by the working of the kidneys, and the surplus is disposed of through the bladder, lungs, intestines, and skin. The muscles also help in this disposal effort. Now, it aids in lymphatic circulation as well as the flow in the veins of the circulatory system. Lymph is pushed through the lymphatic system by contractions of the vessel walls, by differences in pressure, and by the movement of muscles in the surrounding parts of the body. At the base of the neck, the two main branches of the lymphatic system merge with two veins, and the lymph becomes part of the bloodstream. Now, I got to go to another chapter here on lymph, because I want to kind of accentuate that, because the lymphatic system health is hugely important. Excuse me. Here, there are just 3 ways to activate and speed up the flow of lymph away from the tissues it serves, and back into the main pulmonary circulation. Lymphatic flow requires muscular contraction from exercise and movement, gravitational pressure, so you've got that both in the rebounding, and then internal massage to the valves of the lymph ducts, and the rebounding does that too. So gentle bounce, opening and closing the lymph valves in the tops of the thighs to the extent that a person who is very frail and maybe ill, such as somebody with cancer who's very ill, can sit on the rebounder and someone can gently bounce behind them and they will still receive that gravitational benefit and work their lymph valves which is super important for someone with cancer because someone with cancer has very thick, sludgy, toxic lymph fluid and that needs to be removed. That's what the lymph system is for. And as they do that, the white blood cell count, the macrophage activity account increases, and that macrophage activity goes after cancer cells. It's really fantastic. So anyway, excuse me, rebound exercise does supply all three for anybody interested in moving waste products out of the cells and out of the body. Cellular cleansing takes place quite well from this instant aerobic movement. If an individual is inactive for a long time, the lymph will not flow nearly enough to flush away normal waste substances from his cells. So a lot of people are not active for long periods of time. A lot of people start to live a sedentary lifestyle. And this is how sedentary lifestyle leads to illness, disease, and aging. I just said that myself. Sounds like it would fit right in there. I wonder if I should send it. No. Okay. A varying level of toxicity will exist through much of the body. You don't see it, right? But you don't feel well. Or you just think, oh, I'm just getting old. This is why, for example, a perfectly healthy person confined to bed for an extended period of time, like because of a broken leg, will end up feeling just plain terrible. His own toxins will have accumulated to poison the cells in his vital organs. This is why people who can't be physically active, maybe for a period, lymphatic massage or any massage, because that massage, that pressure from the outside will also work the lymphatics. So massage is a very important therapy for somebody who can't, who cannot move. Aside from poor nutrition, the primary cause of fatigue, disease, cell degeneration, and resultant premature aging is poor circulation to and from the tissues of the body. There is resultant stagnation of cellular fluids. Living cells and organs, which continually supply, when continually supplied with proper nutrients and oxygen, will thrive only so long as toxic waste substances are concurrently removed and regularly excreted from the body. This is the main job of the lymphatic system. When we effectively move the lymph away from the cells, it becomes easier for arterial blood to enter the capillaries and supply the cells with fresh tissue fluid, food, and oxygen. Part of the rationale of rebounding aerobics is that it effectively moves and recycles the lymph and the entire blood supply through the circulatory system many times during the course of the rebounding session. And it begins doing this instantly, even with your first bounce on the rebound unit. So a lot of times we think of aerobic exercise, we think, oh, I have to get into my certain heart rate zone, and I've got to maintain that heart rate zone for 20 minutes or whatever, or I'm not getting aerobic exercise. This is different with rebounding. And that is wonderful. It's just fantastic. Such instant aerobics is the means toward total cellular cleansing. If the lymphatic ducts get plugged up at their main junctures to block lymphatic flow, the results would be fatal. So this is how important the lymph system is, but you don't have to think about it. You just got to bounce. It's really cool. It's really great to find out, and it's really inspiring and motivating, right? If you know why something's working for you, that you're involved in a discipline, and that and then you want to do it because So that's why these kinds of things they inspire me, and I hope they inspire you and motivate you as they motivate me. But you don't have to think about it while you're doing it. You just have fun. Just bounce, move your body, have fun. And there's a lot of, oh my goodness, if you want guidance, there are a bazillion videos and programs out there that you can easily download, apps, all kinds of things. You can, if you want help, if you want somebody to guide you through sessions for this or for that, if you're bouncing more for this reason or for that reason. I just love to bounce to my own, I bounce to my own drummer. March to my own drummer. I bounce to my own drummer. Oh, surprise, surprise. I like to just do it my own way. But but anyway, okay. Now going back to these some of these other things. Okay, yeah, this one. It promotes body growth and repair. Okay, so when I was doing the program on colostrum, when I was doing the program on Luron, a couple of things that I alluded to were growth hormone. So we talked about it, I talked about it last week. Insulin-like growth hormone. Talked about human growth hormone and how human growth hormone promotes insulin-like growth hormone. So rebounding promotes body growth and repair. Growth of the long bones are especially stimulated by rebounding. This is true because of the stimulative effect on the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland's frontal lobe produces at least 6 necessary hormones, one of which is the growth stimulating hormone. And so we want, even as we're older, we want some increased activity of growth hormone. We don't want tons. We don't want what we had at puberty because we're not, growing in as children. But we want some to enable our muscles to rejuvenate and for things to work properly. So this is yet another way to support that. It stimulates metabolism, which is a complex and continuous process that begins in the digestive tract and the lungs and goes on in every cell of the body. It consists of breaking down substances into simpler parts that are then recombined into countless new substances that compose the body. Energy, every one of these chemical changes either uses up, or reduces energy. I wish it would just fix my froggy throat. That would be great. And rebounding conditions all the body's systems to handle energy more efficiently. It enhances digestion and elimination processes. The beginning of metabolism is digestion, where food is broken down into simpler elements so that it may be absorbed into the bloodstream and used for energy, repair of tissues, and growth. The end products of digestion are then eliminated from the body, and regular muscular activity carries the entire process forward effectively. I would just be willing to bet if you have problems with regularity, I would be very interested to see if you're a person with problems with regularity, if you start incorporating bouncing into your daily regimen, what happens? Because I bet you that makes a huge difference, a huge difference. It expands the capacity for fuel storage, causing extra endurance, but the storage will be as deposits of protein rather than fat because of the extra muscular motion from rebounding. Yeah, it's not like, okay, spend an hour and a half on a treadmill, which, by the way, is counterproductive if you want to lose fat. I could do another whole session on that, but I'm not going to talk about it today. Let's see. It reduces the likelihood of obesity, for exercise is vital in taking off excess weight. A daily program of rebounding may not cause the pounds to melt away overnight, but it will diminish body fat, improve muscle tone, improve the efficiency with which your body burns carbohydrates, and lower your pulse rate and blood pressure. This morning I was sitting there preparing this. I thought, gee, I wonder what my resting heart rate is. And so I tested it, and it's 68. 68 is a great resting heart rate. Now, this is really cool. It provides an addition to the alkaline reserve of the body. We hear a lot about that, which may be of significance in an emergency requiring prolonged effort. The principal acid neutralizer or base in the body is sodium bicarbonate, which is manufactured from carbon dioxide. Remember, Raymond instructed us about that a couple of weeks ago, how important carbon dioxide is. Carbon dioxide gets a really bad rap, especially today in the climate craze, climate hysteria. Carbon dioxide is super important to our health, and things have to be in balance, right? Balance. very important. So sodium bicarbonate, okay. The principal acid neutralizer in our bodies, keeping us from being acidic, but alkaline or base, is sodium bicarbonate, which is manufactured from carbon dioxide and from sodium obtained from dietary salt. So, don't eat your salt. Yeah, you need salt. And sodium bicarbonate helps to maintain the delicate balance between acidity and alkalinity that is necessary for the normal chemical activity in the body. By stimulating metabolism, rebounding enhances the whole alkaline mechanism. It more nearly attains absolute potential of the cells through chemical function. Okay, let me say that again because that sounds really kind of like that's something we hear very often. It more nearly attains absolute potential of the cells. So their absolute potential, they're working up to snuff, working up to what their absolute potential is, getting that function. Cells respond to stimuli from the environment outside their walls. They perform the special task designed for them in the total economy of the living body. Thus, they will live up to their potential and function at peak performance if the environment is ideal. Oxygenation by muscular movement to increase respiration and circulation permit this potential. And then improves coordination through the transmission of more impulses and responsiveness of the muscle fibers. Impulses travel along a nerve by a series of reactions that are partly chemical, partly electrical. Motor or efferent neurons carry impulses from the central nervous system to the various parts of the body where they are translated into action. At the outer ends of a motor neuron, the frayed end of an axon spreads out to form an end plate, which connects with muscle fibers. Similar structures at the ends of the sensory nerves are concentrated in the sense organs and irregularly dispersed in the skin. The more coordinated procedures are carried out, the finer becomes future coordination efforts. Rebounding is a coordinative process. So it's coordinating everything in your body to work in a coordinated fashion. It affords a feeling of muscular vigor from increased muscle tone. And you do. I definitely notice that. Since doing this regularly every day, I am very much stronger. It feels really good to bend down and pick something up. It just feels great. You feel limber, you feel flexible. It's like, that's great that I dropped that on the floor. I can just reach over and pick it up, give my legs a nice stretch, feel much, much more strong because you are. It supplies a bodily strength and physical efficiency even when we stand perfectly still. Muscles are at work supporting our weight and maintaining our balance. While we sleep, the muscles of our internal organs continue their motions. Stored within the belly of a muscle is protein and sometimes fat that comes forth when called upon to provide hidden quantities of strength and energy. This is a big complaint that people have. People tell me this all the time, whether it's just in random, not seeing me for that reason, but as an aside, it offers relief from neck and back pains, from headaches, and from other pains caused by the lack of use of the various joints and muscles of the body. The lack of use of the joints, of the joints and muscles of the body. You don't think of it when you're just used to doing, and I'm a sedentary person. I read books. I'm on my computer. I can't do that while I'm running around. I have to be sedentary for a good part of my day. And so we don't think about that, though. We don't think that we're not using these things that need to be used. So this is like just a great one and done. It says here, almost everyone has experienced a Charlie horse that results from too violent use of a muscle. The muscle protests against an unaccustomed activity by becoming sore, stiff, and painful. By rebounding regularly, it's not likely you'll ever have a Charlie horse. Number 26, we're getting there. It curtails the occurrence of fatigue and menstrual discomforts for women. Muscles are affected by a great variety of disorders, They also are the underlying cause of many health problems, fatigue, overwork of a group of muscles, nervousness or insomnia, for example, bring on muscle twitches and spasms. The same is true of muscle cramps, especially those in the lower abdomen, which may be related to dysmenorrhea or other female trouble. I can see, like, I don't menstruate any longer, I'm too old, but I can see rebounding, remembering how all of that feels, how that would be very soothing in that area of the body. It results in better mental performance. With keener learning processes, you can help your brain to stay healthy and work at top efficiency by providing it with the necessary diversion through exercise and the sufficient amount of sleep it requires. Much movement will bring on good sleep, and that's the next one. It allows for better and easier relaxation and sleep. The amount of sleep needed differs from individuals, but generally the body and mind tell you they are tired. If anxiety or discomfort are interfering with your sleep, a good session of rebounding does wonders to give you the necessary relaxation diversion. Now, this is really interesting because it helps with the immune system. And that makes sense. Well, it makes sense first just from the lymphatic system alone, which raises your white blood cell activity, which fights infection. But it minimizes the numbers of colds, allergies, digestive disturbances, and abdominal problems. Simply, rebounding keeps the entire body with all its variable systems in tune. They work coordinatedly to provide optimum metabolism. It's remarkable, and it's really worth doing. So if you don't have a rebounder, when I first talked about this, people were like, oh, I have a rebounder in my basement, like Joe. Other people, oh gosh, I've got one out in my garage. Back in the 80s, it was kind of like all the rage. The rebounders back then were not nearly as the Cadillac they are today. They've really improved on them. And one person was telling me they advise now to get the ones with the bungee cords rather than the springs. I have a very relatively new one. Mine have springs, and it works just great. But the bungee cords, I don't know. I don't know if it's the joints or whatever, but anyway, just you get one. You can shop, wherever you would shop for sports equipment. I got mine from Amazon. Debbie is saying, great topic, of course, but the voice quality is muffled under the microphone, like the microphone is under blankets or something, so it's a little hard to hear. As always, thank you for your broadcast. Yeah, I'm very disappointed with that, and I don't know what happened to my Elgato microphone. So we'll see how this comes out on the recording, but I do apologize for that. Now, if you're, based on your weight, make sure if you're shopping for a rebounder that you get one they'll tell you this will accommodate so many pounds. Also, I do advise getting one with a handle, whether you feel you need a handle or not for your balance, because it's a really good way you can bounce while doing push-ups. You can be bouncing like this, right? Well, not boing, boing, boing off the thing, but you can be doing that and pushing back. It's great to use as an edge, for stretching. And should you have a moment when you felt like you were going to lose you would have something to grab onto. And I don't think it affects the cost much at all. Some of them, are collapsible, so you can fold them up, store them somewhere out of the way. I will not do that. Mine is in our bedroom because if I had to take it out every day, I would not do it. Just like you keep your guitar out of the guitar case, so you're more likely to play it than if you had to take it out. Just have things right there so you don't have an excuse not to do it, right? Especially if you're short on time. So, yeah, I would just say I'm so glad that I addressed this again. Somebody asked me to do that. I think it was Lisa. And I'm glad I did it again because I learned a lot more about it. I will say, now that I've been doing it absolutely without fail. I'm going to talk about some of my other things that I do that I think you might be interested in. I was going to combine them today, but this phone was just, I mean, this program was just, this topic was just enough to warrant a whole session. But oil pulling for health and for your teeth and for your dental health, but also for the health of the whole body. So what I would do is I get up, I take my Indian, put it on my tongue. You're not supposed to eat or drink for 10 minutes. I go do my rebounding as well after 10 minutes by the time I'm done. Then, because of Brad Hodgkins, who was here back before Christmas, and he was mentioning how Tom Brady always drinks, first thing he does in the morning is drinks 32 ounces of water. So I thought, well, that's a good idea. So then I fill up a mason jar with 32 ounces of water, and I add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar because that's good for you too. And I drink that. And then, well, I drink like about half of it. Then I put coconut oil in my mouth and I oil pull for 15 or 20 minutes while I'm making my bed, straightening up, figuring out what I'm going to wear, getting ready to take my shower, that kind of thing. So oil pulling, these are all things that you can do if you plan, and you can do them quite efficiently and still get on with your day. But oil pulling is another really great, inexpensive thing that you can do that can make remarkable. They say in India, they use oil pulling to actually treat 30 different diseases in the body. So pulling toxins out of, not only out of your mouth, but out of your body. I use coconut oil, and you can use sesame oil. And then you just spit it out, like I spit it into a paper cup and throw it away and then brush my teeth. It's a great practice to get into. So some of these things that you might not have thought of before, small things that can make big differences. And I think that that's what's exciting about holistic approaches to health. And it gives us, we have so much more control than we think we do, don't we? So I do apologize for the audio problems today. You can be sure I'll be right on figuring out what happened to my Elgato app, which is the microphone that I really love. And I'll have that fixed for next week. But in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a great week until next week when I come back, and we'll talk again. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for bearing with me with the technical difficulties again, and take care.